Welcome to the Whiskey Vault. I'm Rex.
All right, I'm Daniel.
And he didn't sheathe it properly, so I know this is an anCnoc.
It's not true. It's anCnoc. That's how you pronounce this.
anCnoc.
It's from the Knockdhu distillery in Scotland, which dates all the way back to ages ago. It's 1893, if I remember correctly.
Sounds like I'm doing the notes on or the background.
I know.
Remember, we're doing impressions though. We're doing impressions. Okay, so I'll say it every time, just because it always surprises me whenever there's a whiskey of a meaningful age, and it's just a super light color. Like in Texas, this would be, oh, you gave this new make half of a summer.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah.
We don't know how old this is. This is a no-age statement spirit.
Okay, so it may not necessarily be a meaningful age.
Well, my guess is it's somewhere between, obviously 3 at least.
Right.
Somewhere between 3 and 10 years old would be my guess.
So this is
which is a pretty wide range.
So here's the thing. I just looked on the back. This is Highland single malt.
Yeah, it's a Highland. Actually, it's inside the space side.
Shut your face.
I know!
Well, I need you to retract your previous statement where I said, regionally do the distilleries stay true to
Yeah, they
form?
do. This is a special edition of anCnoc that they do specifically a peated edition of it.
So
this is like when Bean Riach does the Ben Riach peated, or when Balvenie does the peat week.
Yeah.
Or the normal expressions over here, I've got like 5.
Yeah.
Those are all much lighter, more traditional space side.
So fruity, floral, that kind of sweet vibe.
Right.
Okay. Fair enough.
This is... It smells like peat, but it also smells like honeysuckle.
Honeysuckle.
So it's a weird combination of a light floral note, but with charred bits floating through it.
I'm absolutely loving the nose on this here.
Me too.
I'm getting elements of sweetness. I'm getting elements of like a smoky aggression. Nothing is too out of balance.
You know what I like about it?
I get a little salt in there.
Usually when you get this amount of smoke, you also get that medicinal note from the Islas.
Yeah.
This is all the smoke, but none of the medicinal notes.
Because if the medicinal note, because it turns a lot of people off, if that's the note that you do not like about Islas, this could be a game changer.
Into peat.
Yeah,
absolutely.
This could be a game changer for you to get into something peaty. And without that medicinal note, that smokiness comes across as actual.
It smells even more floral than peat week.
It's like a burning wood smoke.
No, I keep wanting to smell this only because
I haven't even tasted it yet.
I'm a little nervous that the taste is not going to hold up to how magnificently complex and rich the nose is.
I wasn't thinking about it that much, but you're absolutely right.
And that's why
I'm thinking, man, it could only go downhill from here.
Yeah. The nose is really good.
Yeah, it's super good.
Okay, I'm just going to try it. I can't seem to see the peat week Balvenie, so
can we dial in what that smoke note is? Because it's not incredibly earthy. It's a dry.
It's the actual. The taste is.
Yeah.
The taste is great. The taste is more ashy.
Ashy.
It's ash
dry.
Instead of.
Okay, so I'm getting that dry smell.
Like an old campfire.
Yeah.
Right, like the next day's campfire, or like the next day's clothes from camping. When you're like, oh, that jacket was by the campfire.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's ashy but vanilla'd, which is a weird combination.
This has got to be a low proof. No, 46. It's not bad at all.
Now, when Knockdhu...
Ooh, there it is. It got me.
Yeah.
What's in the back?
It's got clingy... I don't want to take another sip because I feel like there's this clingy oiliness that's just starting to get some room to breathe.
Yeah.
But the only aftertaste I have is the aftertaste of smoking a pipe.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah.
Not a cigar. A pipe.
A cigar would be too acrid. Is that a word? It feels like it's a word.
Yeah, it is a word. It's a pipe.
This is a little bit more of a natural, richer, less tannic, less bitter kind of smoke. And so we've gone on and on about.
There's almost a citrus in there.
We've gone on and on about the smoke. Let's talk about the sweetness here, because there is elements of Bayside fruitiness.
But there's also...
They're not going crazy with
There's also a note of what feels like the grain whiskey comparison we did yesterday, where it feels thinner and sweeter instead of thick and heavy.
Not on yesterday's Vault episode. It's a shoot.
Oh, that's right.
It's a shoot we're doing for our other channel.
Yeah. It feels thinner. Yeah. What's weird is it has this oil cling while simultaneously feeling kind of light and thin.
Yeah.
Instead of big, heavy, which from the nose you would think this is going to be a rich, heavy whiskey. It's not. It's a light.
It is. It is. Here's the thing. I like the nose more, but I'm not severely disappointed by the taste.
Oh, no. I enjoy this whiskey.
Yeah.
This may be one of my favorite anCnocs that we've tried.
The nose is glorious.
Yeah.
The taste is like really damn good.
Okay.
Really damn good.
Add a little water.
But the sweetness for me, before we add water to mine.
There's also a little bit of chocolate, I think, in there.
Chocolate?
Yeah, but like white chocolate. Like the not chocolate.
Yeah. It's just a sugar, like it's sweetened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not getting any kind of...
There's not complexity to the sweetness?
Yeah. It's just there. Okay.
So the nose, it got more round with a little bit of water. But it's basically the same.
The tendrils of water always are cool.
Mm-hmm. So for me, I just realized something. The taste was doing one thing very specifically. It felt like the ashiness and the sweetness were living in two different worlds when you took a sip, and they just sort of existed side by side, but they weren't married together.
Mm-hmm.
With a little dash of water, those sweet and smoke intertwine.
It's a much more prominent sweetness now.
It's a more cohesive flavor.
The sweetness gets ramped up and it becomes more cohesive.
That's really cool.
I got a Reddit comment here. Somebody says, what is the best whiskey? This is Sluppold. What is the best whiskey to start someone on that is a huge wine fan?
Ah, yes. So I was wondering about this one because I've heard how do you go from bourbon to scotch?
Yeah.
How do you get into whiskey? But if you love wine, should you start with a wine-finished whiskey?
Yeah, he says he will enjoy a scotch only on occasion, such as Christmas. He's never been a big fan of bourbons. But has never been a fan of bourbons not mixed. So he likes bourbon cocktails.
Okay.
I wanted to do a tasting for him, give him 3 to 5 that would balance each other nicely or just knock him off his feet. Wine? So if he's into like white wine, I think Irish could be a good entry.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
If he's more into red wines, then I think maybe sherried scotches, like Aberlour and Glendronach.
I don't know. There's a rye that would be a good, just because of the spiciness is a very different kind of vibe than wines.
But some people Balvenie double wood.
Some people will surprise you. You give them something that's totally at odds with what they usually prefer, and they absolutely love it. You
know who surprised me with that? So Chrissy Martin, little dab bourbon and level 3 whiskey sommelier, instructor for level 2. She's a bourbon fanatic. She's the one who every time I stumble on my words on bourbons on episodes, she's the one who texts me. He's like, dumbass. What was that all about? You're giving bourbon somms a bad name. Like, I know. But she's probably, her and the Pritchards, between the two of them, have probably taught me most of everything I know about bourbon.
She's doing the Lord's work.
Yeah. And
busting the
balls. And, but she does not like scotch. She's not a fan. She's team bourbon all the way.
Yeah. And I, like Chad and Sarah over at his bourbon night, I think Sarah can take a scotch every once in a while. Chad is just not as seen.
Now, right up until one day we were standing in the vault and I said, look, I'm about to do something to you that's either going to just be the worst thing that's ever happened to you, or it's going to, who knows? Who knows? It could be magical. And I poured her Octomore. And she loved it.
So for context, Octomore is basically as peaty as you could possibly get.
It's the most heavily peated whiskey on the planet right now.
Yeah.
And she loved it. She requests it when she comes back here.
Yeah.
Even though she's not a Scotch fan, she loves Octomore. So I would say, while you start with all the pretty stuff, put one thing in there that just goes so far overboard into screw you.
Yeah.
Because that might be the one.
Or maybe you start there, so anything you give them after that is just so
an act of compassion.
It's so pretty and beautiful.
It's like soothing the wounds.
The more I visit this after we've put some water in here, I'm getting a really bitter finish.
On the taste?
Yeah, on the taste, I'm getting a really bitter finish on the back end there. Another one from the Whiskey Tribe subreddits. Most citrusy scotch? If anyone could offer some advice, I'd appreciate it. I realize that I really like a prominent citrus note in scotch. Most notable examples that I can give is Oban, at least where I noticed that would be a prominent citrus note. Any other suggestions? So, I don't think this counts. The Compass Box Orangery.
No, it doesn't.
So the Orangery is basically
it's an old fashioned in a bottle,
right?
Made from Scotch instead of
you got some orange in there.
Yeah,
a little bit.
You guys comment on that because I racked my brain for citrus notes, and I can always tell when I'm tasting. But for me, what's a citrus note might not be the same thing as the Oban citrus note.
Fair enough.
Because I'm getting a citrus note in this, but this is not the same.
In the comments, whiskeys that have a really nice, prominent citrus note for you. Mm-hmm. Let's see.
And I do agree, there is a little bit of a tannic sweetness to the end of this.
It wasn't there. That bitterness, that tannic.
It wasn't there before the water.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've really reviewed the hell out of this one.
I think we have.
Here's to fighting, stealing, and drinking.
If you fight me, I fight for a friend.
You steal, may you steal a lover's heart.
And if you drink, may you drink with us.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us in the Whiskey Vault. Don't forget to throw in a like, hit that subscribe button on the bottom right, and drop a question or comment down below.